All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Sunil Verma. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address Joint Commanders Conference in Bhopal this morning. Prime Minister to also flag off Bhopal-New Delhi Vande Bharat Express at Rani Kamlapati Railway Station today. Government hikes interest rates of small savings schemes by up to 70 basis points for April-June quarter. IMF approves $15.6 billion support package for Ukraine. And Gujarat Titans beat Chennai Super Kings by 5 wickets in the inaugural match of IPL Cricket in Ahmedabad. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will arrive in Bhopal today on a day-long visit to Madhya Pradesh. Mr. Modi will address the Joint Commanders Conference of the three services going on in Bhopal. The Prime Minister will also flag off Bhopal-New Delhi Vande Bharat Express train from Rani Kamlapati Railway Station this afternoon. We have more from our correspondent.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will attend the Joint Commanders Conference at Kushabhau Thackeray International Convention Centre in Bhopal at around 10 a.m. The theme of the conference is Ready, Resurgent, Relevant. Commander of three services and senior officials of Ministry of Defence are participating in the conference. The Prime Minister will also flag up the Vande Bharat train running between Bhopal and New Delhi from Rani Kamlapati Railway Station at around 3:15 p.m. This is the 11th Vande Bharat train of the country. Sri Modi will also interact with the students selected from different schools of Madhya Pradesh inside the Vande Bharat train. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
The government has raised interest rates on most post office savings schemes for the April-June 2023 quarter. An office memorandum issued by the Department of Economic Affairs in the Finance Ministry said the highest increase is in the interest rate of the National Savings Certificate, NSC, which will now attract 7.7% up from 7%. The new rate for the Girl Child Savings Scheme, Sukanya Samriddhi, has been increased to 8% from 7.6%. The interest rates for PPF and savings deposits have been retained at 7.1% and 4%. The interest rate on the Senior Citizen Savings Scheme is 8.2%, up from 8%, and Kisan Vikas Patra KVP is 7.5%, up from 7.2%. KVP will now mature in 115 months as against 120 months earlier. A one-year term deposit with post offices would earn 6.8%, up from 6.6%. For a two-year term deposit, it will be 6.9%, which was earlier 6.8%. For three-year term deposit, it will be 7%, up from 6.9%. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will visit Aizawl in Mizoram today. Mr. Shah will inaugurate the construction of Assam Rifles' new battalion headquarters at Zokhaosang, which is 15 kilometers away from Aizawl city. He will also lay the foundation stone for several other projects worth 2,414 crore rupees. Chief Minister Zoramthanga and his cabinet colleagues will attend the program to be held at Lamwal in Aizawl. In this program, Mr. Shah will also lay the foundation stone for several infrastructural projects. He will lay the foundation stone for Lal Denga Cultural Centre, a smart city project, Aizawl bypass roads, and several roadway projects for Aizawl, Champhai and Mamit districts. Home Minister Amit Shah will arrive in Patna this evening on a two-day visit to Bihar. Mr. Shah is likely to hold a meeting with senior BJP leaders to chalk out a strategy in view of the forthcoming Lok Sabha elections. He will address public meetings at Sasaram in Rohtas district and Hiswa in Nabada district tomorrow. This is the fourth visit of Mr. Shah to Bihar since the JDU snapped its ties with BJP in the state in August last year. The three-day second G20 Tourism Working Group TWG meeting will begin in Siliguri today. Tourism Secretary Arvind Singh said this meeting will carry a message about the prospects and potential of the northeastern part of India. The meeting will be attended by more than 130 delegates from the G20 member countries, invitee countries and international organizations, along with tourism industry partners, state tourism and local tour operators. Mr. Singh said the main aim behind holding this meeting in Siliguri is to showcase the typical features of the area, tea plantation, adventure tourism and local art and culture to the delegates. On the second day of the plenary session of the Sherpa meet under India's G20 presidency, currently underway in Kumarkom, sessions on way forward for G20 outcome documents, green development and life will be held at the Waterscapes Resort today. The working group meets on development, energy transitions, environment, climate sustainability and disaster risks reduction will also be held. The formal deliberations at the second Sherpa meet will draw to a close this evening. Our correspondent has filed this report.
Perhaps the most important sessions today is on the way forward for G20 outcome documents, which will discuss the outcomes of various meetings that form the basis of the leaders' declaration slated to be adopted at the New Delhi summit in September later this year. There will be presentations and discussions on unlocking finance for development by the special envoy to the Prime Minister of Barbados, Avinash Persaud, and another one on macroeconomic outlook and its impact on sustainable development goals. In the afternoon, a session on green development and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's initiative on lifestyle for the environment will be taken up. Formal deliberations at the meet will conclude today with India's Sherpa Amitabh Kant addressing the delegates on the G20's way forward. Raj Mohan, AR News, reporting from Kumaragam.
In Odisha, ahead of the third Education Working Group meeting under India's G20 presidency to be held later this month, several activities are being rolled out from the auspicious occasion of the Statehood Day of Odisha today. Accordingly, month-long programs have been scheduled to be held in many educational institutions in all the 30 districts of the state. The G20 meetings on the theme Future of Work will be held in capital Bhubaneswar from the coming 27th to the 29th of this month with the participation of delegates of G20 nations. A report.
More than 35 institutes in the state have girded off their loins to make the most out of this brilliant opportunity. Top-notch educational institutions like the IIT, NIT, IIM, ISER, NCERT, ICAR and Skill Development Institutes are incurring several shows starting from Prabhat Fairy to Cyclothon, webinar to seminar and competitions to conferences to fish out the best practices and proposals on the theme of future of work in relation to education and skilling. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
On the third and final day of the first Disaster Risk Reduction Working Group meeting under India's G20 presidency, a technical session on ecosystem-based approaches to disaster risk reduction will be held today. The three-day meeting of the working group, which is being held in Gandhinagar in Gujarat, began on Thursday. Around 100 delegates from the G20 member countries, invitee countries, and from 9 international organizations are participating in the three-day event. Today, the participating delegates will also be taken on a field visit to Smriti Van Earthquake Memorial and Museum in Bhuj. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. All India Radio is presenting a vignette of select quotes of the Prime Minister from Mann Ki Baat as the program completes its 100th episode in April this year. In this 35th episode, let's listen to the excerpts of Mann Ki Baat in which the Prime Minister called upon the people to make sports a part and parcel of their lives.
People, voice and direct dialogue. That's your and our Mann Ki Baat. Yes, this is how our Prime Minister connects with millions of countrymen. With the program Mann Ki Baat, aired on the last Sunday of every month on All India Radio. This series, which started on October 3rd, 2014, will complete its 100th episode in April 2023. Barely a few days ago, 4 women boxers from India won the World Championship and brought laurels to the country. It is a reflection of the change that has come about in the country. The Khelo India program, a baby of the Prime Minister's vision, has played a big role in motivating the youth to actively participate in sports. In the Mann Ki Baat episode broadcast on 7th August 2017, the Prime Minister shared his vision about developing a sports culture and its significance in the times to come.
मैं चाहता हूं कि हमारे देश की नई पीढ़ी खेल से जुड़े, खेल हमारे जीवन का हिस्सा बने। अगर हम दुनिया के युवा देश हैं तो हमारी ये तरुणाई खेल के मैदान में भी नजर आनी चाहिए। स्पोर्ट्स यानी फिजिकल फिटनेस, मेंटल अलर्टनेस, पर्सनालिटी एनहेंसमेंट, मैं समझता हूं इससे ज्यादा क्या चाहिए। खेल एक प्रकार से दिलों का मेल की एक बहुत बड़ी जड़ी बूटी है।
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has approved a $15.6 billion support package for Ukraine to assist with the conflict-hit country's economic recovery. The loan is part of a broader $115 billion international support package to help the country meet urgent funding needs. Of the total amount approved by the IMF, $2.7 billion is being made available to Ukraine immediately, and the rest of the funds are due to be released over the next 4 years. Extended Fund Facility is the first major financing program approved by the IMF for a country involved in a large-scale war. Sri Lanka's Power Minister, Kanchana Wijesekara, has said that the India-Sri Lanka Power Grid Connectivity Project will be finalized in the coming few weeks. Speaking at a dinner organized by the Sri Lanka-India Society to commemorate the 74th Republic Day of India and the 75th Independence Day of Sri Lanka, Mr. Wijesekara said that Sri Lanka will develop northern and eastern provinces with a specific focus on Trincomalee with India's assistance.
The foundation that has been laid will open up a lot of more opportunity, not just for the Indian entrepreneurs, businesses to take part in Sri Lanka, but it will help immensely the Sri Lankan entrepreneurs to go into business relationships with India. India Energy Week was eye-opener. We hope that India-Sri Lanka relationships will pave the way to achieve not just Sri Lanka's ambitions, but of India's economic ambitions to be the global leader in the near future.
In IPL Cricket, Gujarat Titans defeated Chennai Super Kings by 5 wickets in the inaugural match at Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad last night. Chasing 179 for victory, Gujarat Titans overhauled the target with 5 wickets in hand and 4 balls to spare. Earlier put into bat, Chennai Super Kings scored 178 for 7 in the stipulated 20 overs. Gujarat's Shubham Gill scored 63 off 36, while Chennai's Ruturaj Gaikwad scored 92 off 50 balls. Chennai's Rajavardhan Hengargekar picked up 3 wickets, while Gujarat Titans Mohammad Shami, Rashid Khan and Alzare Joseph grabbed a couple of wickets each. Rashid Khan was adjudged player of the match. Today, Punjab Kings will take on Kolkata Knight Riders at 3:30 p.m. in Mohali, while Lucknow Super Giants will lock horns with Delhi Capitals at 7:30 p.m. in Lucknow. And now, for a look at today's newspapers, it's over to Prashant Kumar Sinha.
Thank you, Sunil. India has announced a foreign trade policy targeting $2 trillion in exports by 2030, writes the Hindustan Times. Amnesty scheme incentives for rupee payment in new foreign trade policy, reads the headline in the Indian Express. The Asian Age carries in a box item the news of concern in India's security establishment due to China allegedly constructing a listening post on Myanmar island. Project Tiger, a national project dedicated to the protection and conservation of the tiger, turns 50 today, writes the Times of India. The online version of the Hindustan Times informs that the Prime Minister is set to release a new census on April 9th. Newspapers have widely reported on the indictment of former U.S. President Trump, indicted for hush money to porn star, to be arraigned on Tuesday, headlines The Pioneer. And finally, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York is to repatriate 15 stolen Indian artifacts. And with that, it's back to you, Sunil.
Thank you, Prashant. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address Joint Commanders Conference in Bhopal this morning. Prime Minister to also flag off Bhopal-New Delhi Vande Bharat Express at Rani Kamlapati Railway Station today. Government hikes interest rates of small savings schemes by up to 70 basis points for April-June quarter. IMF approves $15.6 billion support package for Ukraine. And Gujarat Titans beat Chennai Super Kings by 5 wickets in the inaugural match of IPL Cricket in Ahmedabad. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.